So Ram meets Kaushalya. When Kaushalya sees Ram, she immediately embraces Ram in joy, thinking that Ram is going to be So she embraces Ram, thinking that he has come to take blessings before the coronation. And Ram informs that actually it is the order of my father to be the general for 14 years. And probably it is good for me. One very positive thing is that I will get association of so many hermits and sadhus, and that will help my life in future. So when Kaushalya hears this, she actually collapses in the ground. She thinks that this is totally absurd. And Kaushalya started expressing grief. She tells that, my dear Ram, my entire life I have been mistreated by my husband, Dasharatha. Although he is a noble king, everything is fine. But he has never given me due respect as should be given to a wife. Now this is a very private conversation. Sometimes we see in happy families also, there is so much distress. What goes between a husband and wife, nobody can ever know. So Kaushalya, Ram is also kind of taken aback that how is Kaushalya saying this? Dasharatha is known to be such a pious person, nice person. But how he could have mistreated? So Kaushalya says, although I being a senior queen, it's not that I expect a seniority position, but I was not even treated like a queen. I was not treated even like a person. She says, even the maid servants of Kaikeyi would actually misbehave with me. I have not even got a proper position of a maid servant in this kingdom. This is the way how Dasharatha has treated me. Although he is very respectful to me, but there is no affection which I receive from him. That is the kind of treatment which Dasharatha has given. It was a great joy, great news to me that you will be coronated as a king, because I thought that after this at least I will be peacefully staying, where the maid servants and others will also not disturb me. Although I don't criticize Dasharatha for this, it is a very private talk which she said. And therefore, she said that I don't approve. So Ram says, it is the duty of a son to follow the instructions of the father. All the Dharma Shastras say. Kaushalya quotes, she says, a mother has a greater right on the authority over the children than the father. So if you consider yourself to be following Dharma, then may you know that you require my opinion, my approval first. And you are required approval of both. If I don't approve, you cannot go to the forest. And she starts crying. Ram is seeing her totally disturbed. Ram is also disturbed, but he is not expressing his grief. Because he knows that if he breaks down, it will create a greater disaster. Kaushalya says, my dear Ram, even if you go far away from me, I feel that I am losing my life. What will happen if I know that you are banished for 14 years, I won't be able to see you. This is too much. I cannot tolerate this. This will only create more havoc in my life, in the already existing havoc. All the co-wives will start insulting me even further, and their servants even further. Sometimes when you read these books, read this kind of text, you feel that how come in such a Maryada Purushottam Ram in that kingdom where Raghukul, there was somebody like Kaushalya who was mistreated. Mistreated means not given the due honor. A queen not being treated properly by the co-wives of the maid or the maid servants of the co-wives. It's a very big thing. And then there was no issue about it. Why? Because Dasharatha would spend all the time with Kaikeyi. So she says, now you are the only reason why I am surviving. So if you leave me, I will not consume any food and water till I die. I will fast unto death. So I do not grant you permission. So Ram, he starts quoting Shastras. He says, my dear mother, please try to understand. It is not Dashrath who has made this desire. It is Kaikeyi. It is easy to condemn Dashrath in such a situation. But he says, Dashrath is merely following the vow of being truthful and the vow of following Dharma. Otherwise, Dashrath does not want. For him to see me leave the kingdom is as painful as it is for you. It is not that Dashrath is securing a better position for himself by doing this. And neither it is a political thing. It's a question of a heritage. कि रघुकुल के जो नियम होते थे. So that is at stake. My father is totally distressed and he is crying. This is not giving convenience to him. So please don't consider from that perspective. I do not have any power to defy the orders of my own father. And if I deny his position, he will be condemned his entire life. Not only by the history in future, but also Kaikeyi will not allow him to live. And I will have to live here, seeing him insulted in my presence. What a complex situation. This is unacceptable to me. As against that, if I leave to the forest, at least Kaikeyi will stop harassing him. He may have a pain of separation from me. That's a different thing. But that is just one pain. But if I am here, Kaikeyi will punish him. The kingdom will punish him. People will start speaking that this person gave promises but did not fulfill. History will punish him. That will be too much of a volume of punishment. So just for my convenience, I cannot accept that. And he tells Kaushalya that, my dear mother, whatever has happened with you, please do not leave Dashrath. He is a very dharmic person at all levels. Yet, it is a time of great distress that Kaikeyi has left him. Now, if you also leave him, because I am going to leave now, there will be nothing else remaining for him. And he will die that very moment. So it is my desire that you please serve him to the best of your ability. And I promise you that after I complete my 14 years of the forest, I will immediately come to you and first I will meet him. After he says this, Kaushalya feels a kind of slight joy amidst that distress. And then she blesses the child. She says, my dear child, you please go. And promise me that when you come, I want to see your easy, sweet talks, just like a boy does with his mother. So I want to hear that. And Ram says, I promise. The first thing I will do is I will come and meet you. Lakshman is just there. He's listening on this. He's furious. He cannot tolerate this. He's so angry, he's so disturbed that he starts blasting Dashrath. He says, this man, he does not use the word my father, or he does not use the word King Dashrath. He says, this man, he has a perverse nature. He is aged and also overpowered by his passions and deeply inflicted with carnal pleasures and desires, even at this age, because of which he has to submit to the whims of a woman. I am surprised. He mere bhai hai kya? Lakshman so devoted, and he's calling his father with such names. Perverse nature, overpowered by passions. This man, he's so much submitted and he feels so much lusty for Kaikeyi that he cannot even speak or stand against Kaikeyi. And there is no point in following or applying dharma for these people. Dharma Shastras do not allow. If there is an adharmic person, you don't have the burden of, you don't have the worry to even consider dharma when dealing with a demoniac person. You can use whatever. And he says, no one can challenge you, Ram. Not even Kaikeyi or not even Bharat. So it is my suggestion that you please accept my assistance and take over this kingdom. If required, if Dasharath comes in way, I will bind him and will throw him in prison for till he dies. And if not that, if required, I will also kill Dasharath. But nobody can stop him. He's furious. And Ram is also confused what is happening. Please imagine that moment of chaos caused by just one envious thought. How much an emotion of envy can create havoc. All the relations are doubting each other because one person incited this God. Everybody is doubting each other. Ram is doubting, what will Kaikeyi now do to my mother? Kaushalya is thinking whom to trust. Kaikeyi or Dasharath, how they will behave with me, whom to trust, the maid servant, nobody knows. Now Lakshman is doubting Dasharath's character. All just one envy. All relationships are falling apart one after another. And he tells Ram, even if Bharat has a tinge of desire to become the king and he comes with his entire army here, I will kill all of them. There is no way. You are going to rule this kingdom for thousands and thousands of years, and after you are done, I will ensure that only your sons will further take over. There is no scope for Bharat or his sons or anybody for that matter. And anybody who comes in the way, I will kill you. So Ram says, my dear Lakshman, it does not befit you to be speaking such words against our glorious father. Can you not see that this great glorious Dasharath, he is not having a convenient time and enjoying with with whomever as you are defining. It is Kaikeyi who wants to fulfill her desires, and therefore she has victimized our father. She has misused those two boons which Dasharath had given to her. So it's not right for us to condemn our father. And therefore, leave this thought. Don't become a pro-Kshatriya of wanting to incite violence. This is not right. He says this. I understand your devotion and valor towards me. But this is not fair in your thought process. Give it away. And then he tells Lakshman that, my dear Lakshman, now that I am gone to the forest, you should ensure that everything is taken care of nicely. All the mothers are very well protected. And Lakshman is looking at Ram. Who told you that I am going to be here? I am coming to forest with you. So Ram said, now you already know that there is a chaos. Bharat, although I have full trust in him, because in this time of chaos, there is a chance that he gets influenced with the thoughts of Manthra and Kaikeyi, and he may misbehave with our mothers. So somebody needs to be there around. So I want you to be here. Who will take care of Kaushalya and others? He tells, now that he is going to have a big position, so all of you should deal with Bharat very respectfully. Till now, he was not in the position of power. And Ram quotes, the moment a person gets a position of power, you have to deal with that authority. Otherwise, that person, if he has material tendencies, he will inflict the damage from that level, unless he is highly controlled. What a principle Ram is mentioning about his own brother. The moment he becomes a king, he says, you have to now behave as a subject, irrespective of he being your brother or sister or whatever. Lakshman does not subscribe to this view. Lakshman tells to Ram. Ram says additionally to Lakshman, Dasharath would never do this willingly, and I am sure that Kaikeyi also cannot do this willingly, because she has been more loving to me all this while. I understand that I was going to be coronated the king today, and just a couple of hours before this thing is happening. That means it is the will of the destiny that I should go to the forest. So Lakshman becomes restless because he knows that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. He creates destiny. And And this person is telling it's destiny who is sending me. So he says, why are you glorifying destiny in such a way, Ram? You know very well, if you cannot give things in my hand, I will take care of destiny. These two people, Dashrath and Kaikeyi, they are enslaved by their passions. And their passions are kicking you out of the kingdom and you are putting it on destiny. It is only those who are weak and timid who take shelter of destiny. I will show you what it is. And Ram, let me tell you, these arrows and bows are not for my fashion here. It's not to keep it on to wear a waistbelt that I have put a quiver here. It's not for that. These two hands of mine are not intended to increase the beauty of my body. That is not why these two hands are. It's not a mere decoration. It is meant to tame my enemies. And therefore, today I am going to finish off Dashrath. If Bharat comes, I will finish it. If the entire Ayodhya comes to challenge this decision of mine, I will depopulate entire Ayodhya. Lakshman is furious. He just can't see. Lakshman decides. Ram does not say anything at that moment. He just goes to pacify Lakshman. Okay. Let us go in first. Let me just meet Sita. Then we will decide what to do. When he goes to Sita, now Sita is also totally worried because she's just heard all these things are happening. She does not know. And seeing Ram worried, it is only in Sita's chamber that Ram actually shows his grief for the first time. They had an intimate relationship. Sometimes we all have some one person in front of whom we actually show whatever we have, whatever grief, anxiety, sometimes hatred, and whatever we are comfortable revealing ourselves. Seeing Ram's sunken shoulders and seeing the grief on Ram's face, Sita was also distressed. Ram just told Sita that I have duties to perform for my father and I have to leave to the forest. So I advise you, Bharat is going to be the next king, so deal with him very nicely. Make sure that you don't speak any word against Bharat or against Kaikeyi to anyone, because that will not be tolerated. As long as you are in an equal position, maybe they will tolerate, but now Bharat is coming in the position of power and that power will influence his mind. So make sure you don't speak. And make sure that you serve Kaushalya nicely, because now she is also helpless. So Sita is deeply hurt hearing all this. Why she is hurt? Because she feels that Ram is going to leave me. So Sita tells Ram that when I was married, I married to you and I took a vow that I will serve you through all the sorrows and pains and pleasures of life. And therefore there is no way that I can leave you alone in this time of distress. I will accompany you to the forest. So Ram says, you cannot accompany me to the forest. Do you know how the forest is? There is a whole chapter of how Ram describes. He tries to make Sita scared of the forest. He says in the forest there are so many wild animals. You know, when you are walking, you may feel it's a peaceful place, but somewhere from some corner, a lion is watching you, a tiger is watching you, a bear is watching you, waiting to pounce upon you. You may be drinking water from a beautiful stream, but there you don't know that there is a crocodile waiting for you. Now Sita is a person who has never been out of the kingdom actually. Ram is actually describing all this. And then he says, there may be birds, but you don't know that those birds are waiting to kill you with their beaks. There will be insects. When you get tired, you have to sleep. There are no beds. You have to sleep on dry leaves. And beneath those dry leaves, there could be snakes, insects, and other animals, reptiles. All that threat is there. So hearing all this, Sita is a little bit amazed because she's not heard the description of jungle in a scary way as Ram has heard. I am speaking it a little bit faster. In our 9-day Katha, it's almost one session of the description of Ram. But he tries to scare. And he says additionally in the night time there are ghosts and pishach and all these things. And amidst all this, you may encounter a sadhu or a hermit, and it's your duty to serve. And then you have to be ready for that service. So you have to procure fruits and roots and vegetables. How will you do all these things? So Sita says, my dear Ram, all this while the animals of the jungles were doing whatever they did because you had not approached them. The moment you enter the forest, nobody will attack you. So somehow she is also learned the philosophy. So therefore there is no way. And then she says, when I was young, it is explained, when Sita was young, one female astrologer had come to the kingdom. And seeing her kundli, he had told that one day she will have to go to the forest. So Sita says, I am reminded that a female astrologer had come and told this. And therefore, you also have to accept it as my destiny that I have to go to the forest. It's not my own will. I wish to follow you, but it's part of destiny. Because Ram is also saying it's part of destiny. So with the same argument she insists and Ram agrees. So he says, okay. And then Ram looks at Lakshman and says, so you stay back and take care of the rest. Lakshman does not listen. He falls at the feet of Ram. And he says, my dear Lord, if you have decided to go to the forest, then I am going to walk just right in front of you and I will take care of all the lion, tiger and deers and elephants and everything. So I am coming to you. So Ram says, oh Lakshman, if you come, who will take care of Kaushalya and Sumitra? So Lakshman says, my dear Ram, at one time you say that Bharat is capable of running the kingdom. At one time you say Bharat will treat our mothers nicely. Then to convince me you say Bharat will not treat nicely. If you are convinced that Bharat is wicked, you would have actually not left everybody here. You are convinced in somehow that Bharat may manage. So therefore I am also convinced Bharat is such a wonderful person. He will take care of everybody and he is not slightly glorifying Bharat. He said Bharat loves Kaushalya more than Kaikeyi. And he says, I am sure when Bharat comes to know all this, he will disapprove of whatever has happened. So therefore I am coming and I am joining you. And I will not be a burden to you. I will bring all the roots and leaves and fruits and vegetables, whatever you want. You and Sita should be peaceful. I will just bring everything. I will make sure that you will feel, you will consider me as an asset. So Ram is pleased. And then he agrees for Lakshman's coming. So Ram tells Lakshman, okay, go and bring those 2 special quivers of arrows and bring my bow and let's prepare to go. So Lakshman hurries. He is excited that he is with Ram, basically. Otherwise, for Lakshman there is no other person in this universe than Ram. He is like that. As we heard, he was ready to kill his father, depopulate Ayodhya. All these things. Forget about Manthara and Kaikeyi don't even hold any position. There are no consideration. He would not probably even consult Ram before doing anything to them. So he is very excited. So all the 3, they come, Ram, Lakshman and Sita, they come out of their rooms with their quiver, ready to depart, and they go to Dashrath's place. Dashrath is there, still Kaikeyi, and Kaikeyi is just next to Dashrath. Dashrath is still on the floor. Meanwhile, the news has spread in the entire kingdom that Ram is being exiled. So when they see all these 3 coming out of their chambers, going to Dashrath's place for paying blessing, the entire Ayodhya, many of them are crying, they are sad, people are crying, alas, alas, what this thing, wrong thing has happened. So they go and meet Dashrath. Dashrath is very sad. He starts crying and breaks down, and he immediately falls unconscious, seeing that his children have come to take blessings for a 14-year exile. Ram, he falls at the feet of Dashrath and he says, "My dear father, please bless me that I can execute your command very respectfully and nicely." Dashrath is unable to say anything. But Dashrath, after a while, moments pause, he says to Sumantra, who was there, his minister, he says, "Please ensure that all our treasury is sent in the forest along with Ram, because he may require any help. Some people may attack, who knows, whatever can happen. So all the treasury should be sent, and all the granary, all the grains we have in Ayodhya should be sent to the forest, and send 100,000 soldiers with him." So when Kaikeyi hears all this, she suddenly gets alerted. She talks to Dashrath. Wait. If you send hundreds and thousands of men with Ram, if you send the granary with Ram, if you send the treasury with Ram, then what will Dashrath rule? So I don't want such a kingdom for my son. Why don't you simply tell that you cannot follow your vow? So imagine what a shamelessness she exhibits. So much she is punishing her husband. Now even at that time she is defining what that vow means. So Dashrath falls and he starts cursing Kaikeyi. "Kaikeyi, you are like a serpent. I kept you so close to my heart thinking that you will give me so much pleasure, but all you have done is you have stung me so bad, you are exterminating my entire race. You are the greatest disaster. It has been told in our Shastras that kings should be away from their lusty, their whims and fancies, and they should have their lust under control." Dashrath condemns himself for being fascinated by Kaikeyi's beauty. It is all because of my uncontrolled senses that I am facing this day. And then he falls down, he cannot speak anything. Sumantra starts chastising the minister, he starts chastising Kaikeyi. He says, "Kaikeyi, you are such a wicked mother. You are so shameless. Do you know if Bharat, when he comes back and he hears that this is what you have done, even Bharat will not approve you. He will also desert you as a mother. What will you do then? Forget about Dashrath commanding things to go along with Ram. If Ram leaves the kingdom, the entire Ayodhya will start following him." In fact, Ramayana explains that all the Ayodhya Vasis, they had already started planning, packing all their stuff, whatever they had, in their bullock carts and horse carts to banish the kingdom of Ayodhya and stay with Ram. Their definition was wherever Ram is, that is Ayodhya. And if Ram is not there, this is simply a forest. They said, why should we be exiled in such a forest called Ayodhya, where there is no Ram? So they said, we don't want to stay in exile. So everybody had started packing their stuff. It is explained, Sumantra said the entire Ayodhya is also ready to leave. I think when Bharat comes, Kaikeyi, you should hand him over this Ayodhya, which will be only ruled by, which will only have the population of animals and beasts. Let Bharat rule such a kingdom. So Kaikeyi still does not budge at all. There is no message. Vashishta comes and Vashishta starts criticizing Kaikeyi. He starts explaining that all these 4 sons have come after a long time and so many other things. And they are not ordinary people, they have come through yajna. And in spite of that, you are doing such an inauspicious task. Bharat will reject you, Kaikeyi. You will not achieve your goal. You will be condemned for eternity. So nothing actually happens. Kaikeyi simply looks at Ram and she says, Ram, you cannot go to the kingdom by wearing these kingly robes. Because if you go like this, then you will be respected and honored by those tribals who may be staying there. And therefore, this is not the condition with which you should go in exile. So please remove your helmet and all these clothes. And you should put on tree barks just like hermits. Look at the torture which Kaikeyi is doing. Ram, Lakshman is furious at all times. He's just tolerating, looking at Ram. You just give me an indication for a moment. Ram agrees to put those robes. Kaikeyi, she rushes in a room. She brings 3 sets of robes which were of kusha grass and some tree barks. Within a short span of time, she made 3 sets of dress. Look at the levels of shamelessness a person can fall when envy comes. Criticism, rejection, hatefulness, everything is falling. When Kaushalya sees this, when Dashrath sees this, Vashishta is there, Sumantra is there, all these great people are there, they cannot believe their eyes. That Kaikeyi, with her own hands, she is telling these people that now put on these robes and remove those robes. Ram immediately accepts those and he goes in his chamber to change. Ram and Lakshman change their dress. Still Sita has not come out. So Ram goes in Sita's chamber to find why she has not come. So he finds that Mother Sita, poor person, she was always pampered like a beautiful, like a princess in the kingdom of Janak. She is just holding that bark of dress and that skirt made up of a little bit grass from top to bottom. She just does not know how to wear it. And Ramayana explains that she was just holding it on her chest and she did not know how to actually do the dress properly. So Ram just smiles at Sita and says, don't worry, you will learn how to put such dresses very soon. And Ram ties that dress. And there is a kind of a joy but a sadness in the heart of Ram. Joy that we are going to be together, don't worry, I am with you. But sadness that he as a husband now has to see that her own queen or wife is going to put a tree bark. He cannot offer anything else. And he personally ties that part of the dress and 3 of them they come out. It is unacceptable to the people of Ayodhya to see Ram, Lakshman and Sita in such a condition. Those kingly personalities in such kind of saintly robes or robes of hermits. People start crying, suddenly there is a shout in that entire assembly of people, thousands of people just shouting, what is this going on, what is this going on? Kaushalya starts running towards Ram, please don't go, please don't go. Ram does not pay attention. Ram immediately tells Sumantra, please take me on the chariot. And they go on the chariot. Ram orders Sumantra, drive as fast as you can. At that moment, all the Ayodhya-vasis started running. Animals, cows, elephants, horses, all the different kinds. They started, domestic animals, they started running behind the cart. All the Ayodhya-vasis are shouting, Ram, please wait, don't go, don't go. Kaushalya runs from her chamber, running after the chariot. Ram, please stop, my son. Ram looks at Kaushalya, but when he cannot see his old mother running to stop, but at the same time, he would not neglect. So when he saw once, he decided not to turn back further and he told Sumantra, drive fast. Suddenly he hears the sound of Dashrath. Dashrath is shouting, Sumantra, stop, don't go. And Ram orders Sumantra, go. So Sumantra is confused whether to go or not. So he is not actually driving fast, but he cannot drive slow also. Ram understands that Sumantra is in this difficulty, what to do. So Ram tells Sumantra, just drive fast, and if the king summons you later, after you drop us wherever, just tell him that I could not hear your voice. So in that way he will not punish you. Look at the personality of Ram. Even at that moment he was trying to find a solution for Sumantra's embarrassment. How to Sumantra's conflict. He said, just tell you did not hear the voice, but you please drive fast. With the running, Ramayana explains the chariot was moving fast, the dust was rising from the ground. And thousands of Ayodhya Vasis, they were running. And there were tears coming out of their eyes. With the tears, the dust was getting settled. That were the tears which were coming in pain for Ram. They kept running. Ram told, drive faster. After some time, in that whole chaos and the dust which was in them, suddenly people saw that there is no longer any sound of Ram's chariot. It's all silent and there is only some dust particles. So they understood that Ram, Lakshman and Sita have departed. When Sita, they go out of that main gates of Ayodhya, Sita tells to Ram, so is this the forest? She has never been outside the kingdom of Ayodhya. The roads are still good. It's like you just go out of the main highway of Chicago and you feel it's a forest. So Ram says, my dear Sita, there are tears in the eyes of Ram, thinking that this noble lady, she has no experience of forest. To a beautiful city, she feels that this is forest. What is going to happen? He says, my dear Sita, we are still in the outskirts of Ayodhya. The forest is yet to begin. And Sita looks at Ram and says, my dear Lord, wherever you are, I am protected. The forest is as beautiful as it should be. So in this way, they go out of Ayodhya. So tomorrow we'll hear about how Ram and others are received and how he deals with Bharat's argument to come back to Ayodhya. That is our part tomorrow. Sorry, I rushed this entire session because we don't have much time. But what we understand here that greed and lust are never satiated. They translate into arrogance and envy. The demands of Kaushalya destroyed, the demands of Mantra and Kaikeyi, they destroyed every relation in Ayodhya. It is explained after that for 14 years, what was the impact of this thing? In every household, fathers did not trust their sons. Sons did not trust their fathers. Mothers did not trust their sons. Brothers did not trust brothers. Servants did not trust masters. Masters did not trust servants. Nobody trusted each other in entire Ayodhya. All relations were in question. This is what happens. When you are stung with envy, you create a complicated situation because of which a chaos ruins in relationships and nobody trusts each other. This is precisely what happens in all communities. Even if in our spiritual community there is envy and discord and chaos, this is exactly what happens. When you read these words in Ramayana, then after this entire episode, nobody trusted each other. So sometimes we feel, what is the logic between these two? But it happens in our communities. When there is conflict among devotees, then one devotee will quote other devotee. You know, he said something about you. So he will say, he said like this, he said like this. Then in other program, what they say, how did he look at you? Did he give you time? Did he smile at you? Or he looked at you with cross-eyed? Or he turned out his face? Now all these things which are just normal, but because you have that conflict and envy, all these things become a story. Oh, today he looked at me. Today, and sometimes if he's good to you, he said, today he came and asked me, do you want water? No, he never asked. So even that act, a positive act or negative act, everything is seen with doubt and there is no trust in it. What a cascading effect, like an avalanche. An avalanche. To create an avalanche, you don't need to actually get big snow movers there. You just have to shoot a bullet. One small tiny bullet at one spot. The whole cascading effect. Avalanche will happen. In snowy mountains. That was the impact of this one single thing. So any questions or comments? We have 10 minutes before we can do the last year.
How King Dasharatha is said he is a dharmic. How he is a dharmic when he has not respected his first wife and he has not given a proper position. How he is a dharmic?
See again, when we read Dharma Shastras, sometimes we see, if you read about Krishna in his personal relations, sometimes he is also criticized that oh, gopis loved him so much, but he never gave him their due. You know? So some things cannot be just analyzed with that level. See, as a husband, he gave Kaushalya a space, a room, a kingdom, and authority, and all those things. But there are politics of co-wives which do exist. And it is natural, it is not that Dasharath was wanting to be partial towards Kaushalya, wanting to see that Kaushalya is used to it. But because of his closeness with Kaikeyi, she would get away with too many things. So that cannot be always attributed to Dasharath. That's not fair to him. From the perspective of a husband and wife, yes, that from an individual perspective, he was not up to the mark as a husband, but as a ruler, as a father, he was totally dharmanishta. So,
One should have to follow these.
and then he's also a human being. These are not like people who are like gods, so you cannot expect an absolute treatment. Dasharath is not as great as Ram. Even Ram is criticized that what did he do for his wife. Because of some few people making comment, he allowed her to be exiled again. So, Sita ka to Jeevan dekho. 14 years she stayed like that in the forest, and in the forest somebody kidnapped her. Then she came and within no time she had to go back. Sometimes it happens, those people who have such loving childhood, they have thorns the rest of their life, difficulties. Sometimes those who have difficulties early stage, they have good things. So everybody has this. But anyways, Dasharath cannot be blamed on that ground totally from a political perspective. From an individual perspective, yes, there are too many things which you should have taken care of. And Lakshman criticizing him is also not totally right. Because Lakshman's criticism towards Dasharath is not on Dasharath's disqualifications. It's more because of his attachment towards Ram. He loves Ram so much that anybody who shows little bit enmity or discomfort to Lakshman, to Ram, he will be considered as enemy. So from a political perspective, Dasharath is okay. From just one small problem. There is no mention about his treatment with so many other queens, but Kaikeyi was high-handed in nature. So therefore Kaushalya would get mistreated at times. That does not disqualify him to defend them totally. Overall picture, yes.
When I was in college, our Sanskrit teacher told us something about Ram. When he is going out of Ayodhya, I just want to validate this in perspective of Vedic literature. He said that when he is going out of Ayodhya in the Radha, he is making a statement. What words he said, my lecturer said, see how we are just married, see how cruel is Dasarath, he is sending us to forest, And my wife they put some marks to the feet right when you are getting married. They were not even dried out. See how cruel Dasarath is. He is sending us to the forest. These words are really mentioned in Ramayana too, or is this made up?
See, in Valmiki Ramayana and in Tulsidas Ramayana, these both have slightly different versions of Ramayana. So the same pastimes happening are explained in slightly different way. For example, in Tulsidas Ramayana, the whole episode of I'm just explaining how the scriptures are composed. That's why I'll first explain them. When Manthara approaches Kaikeyi in Valmiki Ramayana, it is different than how she approaches Kaikeyi in Tulsidas Ramayana. And when Ram speaks to Kaushalya, here in Valmiki Ramayana, Kaushalya gives so much resistance. In Tulsidas Ramayana, Kaushalya does not give any resistance. She just hears that Ram has a duty to follow and she cries. And she is pleased. And she cries in separation that, okay, whenever you come, we'll leave. And she expresses briefly. It does not go deep. Tulsidas Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana is more elaborate. So, and then there is Kambar Ramayana. And there are various other versions of Ramayana also. So this particular pastime that Ram criticizes is not mentioned in either of the Ramayanas. But I have not read the third and fourth version, so I am unaware of this detail. But it is possible Ram could have said this in some version. But considering that it cannot be highlighted, because if he would have said this, he would have not gone in the first place. He would have not left everything. Right? Because it was not a force upon him. Nobody could force him. But it is possible that it is said, so I am not aware of this detail, but I can find out. So that is. Now, when we are approaching Ramayana through one particular Shastra, say we are approaching to Tulsidas, we have to follow the entire stream as he has composed. When we follow Valmiki, we have to follow. Because they are composed in different millenniums. So in one Yuga, Ram, the same pastime in principle happens. Like the kidnapping of Sita happens in different ways, in different times. It's not exactly the way it's explained. That she sees a golden deer and asks for a golden deer, and then there is Lakshman Rekha. This Lakshman Rekha is also there. It is not there in one Ramayana, it's there in the other Ramayana, like that. The pastimes of Kevat, it's not there in Valmiki, like that. So when you are approaching one Ramayana, you have to follow the entire theme. So then Dharma is taught that way in that. In that millennium, if Ram is criticizing Dashrath, I am not aware of the detail. If Ram criticizes Dashrath, then Ram may also give the whole explanation in a very different way. So it is a fashion of Western authors. You grew up in which school?
This is back in India, almost 1980s.
Was it a Saint something school or proper Hindu school?
No, Hindu school.
Because there are many Western authors who even recently they created a blog called a Hindu website something, and they portrayed all these pastimes in a wrong way. That Ram criticized Dashrath exactly this point, and the point that how Sita was disappointed with Ram, where none of the Ramayana ever explained that Sita was disappointed with Ram. She willfully and willingly came. So they exploit this text in certain ways through translations, because Sanskrit can be translated in various ways. So the whole theme has to be understood. The theme is dedication, devotion, Anushasan basically, discipline, that is the theme. So it seems to me that it does not seem to me without a valid expression that Ram would just as he criticize. The cruelty is also explained in poetic fashion. Now that is not that way, the way we would hear. In a poetic fashion, just like Ram Ram actually scares Sita about the forest. In a later chapters, Ram glorifies the beauty of the forest. And all the harsh things are poetically told nicely. So like that, some harsh statements are just told in a poetic fashion. That even before your legs are dried out, you have to be in the forest. Look how providence is cruel. So that those kind of statements are absolutely fine in the composition of the Shastra.
The English translation of Ramayana followed in ISKCON. The English translation of the Ramayana which we have in ISKCON, is it following Valmiki Ramayana with 100%?
Yeah, it's primarily based on Valmiki Ramayana, not on Tulsidas. But it's a story, it's not a literary translation. It's a story.
There is no such English translation of Valmiki Ramayana.
There is currently 2-3 people in India translating. And earlier also it has been translated by Gita Press Gorakhpur. They already have an English Valmiki Ramayana. But currently some Shri Vaishnavas are also taking up, so it's being translated. So along with the commentaries of 7 Acharyas, which is all in Tamil and other languages. So all those translations have been done, it is yet being documented. So in the next 4 or 5 years, probably we should have 7-8 commentaries on Ramayana in English. That would be very good. So right now I have just read 2.5 versions actually, not that 20. So I am eagerly waiting.
Thank
So
you.
if that happens, so I'm waiting. You should
But
buy also.
Ravana called Ravana Brahma. Brahma means creator. But what Ravana created? Anything? Born anything?
Who?
The people says Ravana Brahma.
And people can say anything.
No, most of the people say Ravana Brahma. Ravana is also be said to be Ravana Brahma.
He received benedictions from Brahma and Shiva, but not. I never heard that. Ravan can be called Brahman because we all are Brahman. We can be also called Brahman. Ravan not Brahma. He is Brahman, he was a Brahman. Ravana was a Brahman. So you can call him a Brahman. The Brahma Rakshasa. It was a very great Brahman.
Prabhu, one more question. Dasarath Maharaj, and I'm comparing with Janak Maharaj. I heard lectures about Janak Maharaj after he leaves his body, where he goes and he hears people crying and he is very compassionate. There is some pastime. Are there any pastimes for Dasarath Maharaj going through that, or after he leaves his body? Is there any other stories that pastimes?
See, these pastimes are not part of Ramayana.
No, I'm just asking.
They are in different Puranas, so I am not aware of those pastimes right now. But Puranas are so big in number that more you read, so many pastimes of Krishna Leela are not there in the Bhagavatam, they are in different Puranas. So as when they are getting translated, like Kushakrit Prabhu translated some books, so many pastimes got revealed in English language. As nowadays sometimes you hear after 30 years it is called newer pastimes you hear. Why? That is because somebody is translating the books of Acharyas from Sanskrit to English. So those pastimes are there. So our limitation is the language. So Puranas, you can read Puran. You read Padma Puran, you read Brihadaranyaka Puran, Garga Samhita. These are all pastimes of Krishna existing. So there are more deeper pastimes, more intimate pastimes are there. Like that, there are so many pastimes. It is possible that there could be some information of Dashrath that you have to read. And there are no chapters entitled on Dashrath. all the Puranas and Upanishads, they are discussing amongst two people are talking, and then they just give an example, like don't behave like this, Dasharath did like this, after that he had to do this. So there will be a new story which comes upon Dasharath. So you cannot do a Google search on Dasharath, in some Purana kahin to mil jayega.
One more question. When Krishna appears to Mother Devaki, and he will address his parents and say, as Lord Vishnu, and he will say, I've taken, you have been parents to me in 3 previous births. One is the Krishnigarbha, and I forget the other 2. So anyway, that does not include Dasharatha and Kausalya. How come, so why is it that way? Because after all, Ram is, born to Dasharatha and Kausalya. Why is that not in this? I forget the 3 times, one is
Vaman, Aditi and
Kashyapa
Krishni and Krishnigarbha. Sutapa. Krishna and Sutapa and Krishna.
But interesting mention about his appearance as Ram in that.
See, not necessarily. These are all these technical details are mentioned in certain contexts. So,
Thank you.
yeah. He was born in many other incarnations also, so that does not describe all parents.
Yeah,
And Hiranyakashipu came, he came, his parent, his father is known as Pila. So we'll do Ramadashram now. Somebody has a question? No. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Ramchandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Shri Bhagwan ki Jai.